Okay, awesome. Well, hey, thank you so much, Christina, for having me here. Welcome, everyone. Thanks for your time and your attention here. So my name is Clifford Almeida, um, founder of My Web Audit, a software solution that helps agencies, freelancers generate more leads, close more deals by identifying web insights, audit reports, whether it's GMB, page speed, on-page SEO, you name it. We kind of identify that quickly for you so you can report on it, add value, and close more clients and generate more revenue. Outside of that, I also run an agency. So we focus on building high converting WordPress sites. Some of it can be, some of it is brochure based and other stuff is custom WordPress development. So over the years, I've had the blessing of working with small mom and pop businesses, as well as some really large organizations, both nonprofit, government, and Fortune 500. Married, got two little kids. I'm excited to speak to you guys. I went to my first WordPress meetup earlier WordCamp, Phoenix WordCamp for the first time earlier this year. And so I was really impressed by that. I've been to a couple of meetups and been able to speak at them. This is my first Zoom one. I hope I deliver all the value that you're expecting. So without further ado, we'll go ahead and get started. I speak very fast, so if I need to slow down, please let me know. We'll cover the high level. We're going to cover some of this at a high level overview, and then others will dive in deeper. At the end of the day, my assumption is everyone who's on here understands the acronym SEO stands for Search Engine Optimization. I'll be giving you information from a generic perspective, meaning you could apply this to your agency for your clients, or if you're a small business owner looking to do this or you're learning about it, all of this will apply. We'll be covering the benefits. We'll talk about some important trends that have continued on from the past to 2020 that you should be doubling down on, common myths. Then we'll jump into key on-page SEO strategies. This part is really important. Most of you probably have heard of these, but don't follow them. And my point to you is if you follow these on your key pages on your site, whether for your agency, for your clients, or for your business, you will see a difference. And you will see a difference, let's just say, over the next 3 to 4 weeks versus trying to say, I got to wait months to see where I go with that. We'll talk about some off-page SEO strategies that can actually work. My goal here is not to go into such detail where you have analysis paralysis. My goal is you should have a pen and paper, and I assume this will be recorded so you can kind of go back to it and then say, hey, Cliff gave me enough information that I can invest a couple of hours and really see some results. Like, you're not going to move to page one, top of page one, but you will see results, and that's really what we're going for here. So I saw your face, Christina. Yeah, and so everything here is going to be actionable and stuff you should be able to leverage at some capacity. And I'll be giving you some tools and resources at the end to help expedite some of that. Cool. So here's the biggest benefits of SEO. You'll know about a whole bunch of different ones, but the ones that you really need to know is that when you do it right, you actually are able to get qualified traffic. All right, this means people that actually are interested in your services or your products. You get them to the site, and then with a well-optimized site, you can generate more leads, which then ultimately leads to more revenue. This is really, really important because you're going to hear people, whether you're a business owner or you're going to or an agency owner, you can hear people say, well, I want more traffic. And you can tell them, well, look, you can pay-per-click. So for example, I'll give you an example. When people are paying for a web agency lead, oftentimes it's going to be about $15 to $20 a click if you're living in a major city. And potentially you're going to have about 10 clicks to get one lead. So that's about $100 to try to get that lead. So you could do that, or you could invest some money trying to rank in in your city and get traffic that way. The other one is that if you do AdWords or Facebook or other solutions, it's kind of a pay to play. You have a budget, you know that you're going to hit that budget after a certain number of clicks, and then you just stop getting traffic. If you stop advertising, you stop getting traffic. But if you do SEO, you'll ultimately be able to generate some sort of long-term traffic flow. And obviously, you all must know that SEO isn't something where you set it and forget it. And we'll talk about that in a little bit. But the point is that if you build a solid foundation, you can assume that you will be getting relevant traffic over time. And I'll talk about what you need in order to do that. The biggest one is brand awareness. You would be surprised to know how many people don't even put their brand into their title, etc. So when someone searches for their business, they're not able to even be found. And so by building some basic SEO fundamentals, you are able to improve your brand awareness, that for your pages, for Facebook and any other profiles online as well. Okay, so when we talk about trends, here are a couple of things that you could do to stand out from the crowd. Okay, the first one is when you are building out your website or that of your client, spend some time identifying who your ideal customer persona is so that your messaging connects with the person when they visit your site. So this is more of a copy thing, but make sure that you do that. Google has leveraged artificial intelligence now. So those days of, kind of scamming them by putting all kinds of keywords in and ensuring that you get ranked is not working. So make sure you're not only optimizing for your ideal customer persona, you're optimizing for the intent. What do I mean by that? Ultimately, when 100 people come to your site, you're probably going to only have 3 to 5 of those people reach out because they're in the stage of decision. So what happens to the other people that are looking for research? Research topics could be things like, why should you hire a web designer? Or why should you, let's just say if I'm an agency, why should you invest in search engine optimization? Then you might have another piece of content that says something like, 10 reasons why you should hire our company, and then maybe some testimonials, right? So make sure you optimize your content for different areas of the buyer journey, and intent matters there. So when someone is looking for hiring a web designer, Google automatically knows through your content, is that something that's going to solve the intent of the user versus just sending them to a page where they're going to be like, well, this doesn't really help me solve my existing problem. The other big one is make sure that you focus on high quality authority content. So for those of you that have heard the whole, do 300 to 500 word blogs and do 5 or 6 of them a month, or sell that to your customer, that doesn't really work. I think about 2 million pages come out every single day on the internet. So to think that somehow your content is going to come up on the top of page 1, and ultimately if it's on page 2, it's like, where the joke is that's where you bury a dead body because no one goes looking, right? And so make sure that you do understand that when you put out the content, maybe just put out 1 or 2 pieces of content a month, but make sure that it is at least 1,500 words. And there's enough data now that shows that, majority of page 1 pages in most industries have 1,500 words or more, unless it's like maybe a home page that has heavy authority. So make sure you write high quality authority content that people may share, people will research and say, well, I remember that company because they helped me with that. The other big thing is make sure that and this is just common sense, but make sure user experience is taken into consideration. If someone's accessing your site on mobile, it can work. If they're on your site, it doesn't take 7 seconds for them to start seeing content up at the top, right? People will bounce on that. Google sees the user experience, and user experience is one of the factors that Google highly values. And so you want to make sure that you do that. And then schema markup. This is something that we've analyzed. The 9 out of 10 websites we ultimately are working to outrank are not doing. And we'll cover a little bit about that. I'll have a resource at the end, but make sure you do schema markup. It takes probably 10, 15, 30 minutes max to put some specific schema markup. Schema markup, for those of you who don't know what it is, it's you telling Google what to look for on your site so they can share that to the end user. So think about it like you might look for best web design company, or best roofers in Austin, Texas, and ultimately you might find some records that have the 5 gold stars underneath, right? That's review schema markup. If you see on the on the page that it has other things like the industry, it helps connect your GMB to your content, and you're easily telling Google where to categorize your content, which makes things easier for them, which then helps get you more visibility. Okay. Am I going too fast? If I can just get a thumbs up from the people I see, we're good. Okay. All right, cool. Myths and mistakes. These ones are just, they're simple. You've heard them before. I'm just going to cover them hopefully from a little bit of a different angle. People say SEO doesn't work. SEO does work. It's the #1 growing service that's happened post or through COVID, because people realized they can't just up and go anywhere. They didn't know who to contact and when. And so SEO does work. It doesn't work when you don't do it right. And here are some things that matter. One, SEO isn't a set it and forget it type of thing. You have to constantly work on it. You may not have to, once you have a solid foundation, you may not have to spend hours a month, but I mean, dozens of hours, but you still have to give it some time. You have to work in different areas. Content creation, we'll talk about citation building, link building, content promotion, some of those things. You have to do that. Make sure that you focus on quantity versus, on quality versus quantity. When you talk about backlinks, what happens here is people start saying, well, look, for $5 on Fiverr, you can get like 50 links or 500 links. Never do that. Ultimately, you want to think about it as, are you gonna work with people that you trust, or just get 100 random strangers who don't know anything about your business sending you a link? And Google can analyze all of that. So make sure that you focus on the quality of the links, because one good quality link, let's just say from even your local chamber of commerce, may be worth 100 or 200 crappy links from international sites coming in. The other one is that's really important is people focus on high volume keywords. High volume keywords are ultimately keywords that have a lot of search traffic. Those words will usually have a direct correlation with competition, because everyone is trying to target those. So my recommendation is always to target long tail keywords that are related to that keyword. And then once you do really well for them, then target the high volume keywords. But if you don't have a solid background, you don't have a high domain authority, which means you've already got a lot of SEO work done, you have a lot of links, you have a lot of content, it's going to be practically impossible. So if you try to, rank for a high volume keyword early on, like you may not see any results for 6 months, that's when you say SEO doesn't work. Or the flip side of it is when someone tries to rank you for a keyword that's not relevant and gets you on page 1 and you don't get any traffic, and you're like, whoa, or you get traffic and you realize it's not converting, and you're like, wait, that's when the keyword intent may have sounded good, but isn't really a buyer signal, and that's when you don't get the leads. And then the biggest one that I see is in whether you're a small business or an agency or freelancer, is the silver bullet. Everyone will come out every other quarter. You'll hear something like, just do this and you'll rank. And you may rank for a couple of weeks, and then you either get penalized or it goes back. So there isn't a silver bullet. Ultimately, if you are able to do this, we're going to cover this. If you can build this, and my bad title, I didn't change that around at the top. But simply put, if you can put these things in, not all optimization strategies are equal, okay? So it's really important for you to do these things, and for the most part, this is somewhat of a framework to follow. So you want to start with keyword research. Figure out whether it's your homepage, and some people have an argument where they say, don't try to rank your homepage because that's more about your brand. If you have a very specific service, my recommendation is try to rank your homepage, because that's the one that's going to have the highest authority, okay? Most of your links, whether it's Facebook or your GMB or other places, are linking there, so it's going to have the highest chance of ranking. So I usually go primary keyword phrase and then the brand after it. And so make sure you start with keyword research at the end in the Q&A. If you have some questions about that, I'll answer that. Then you want to work on your meta titles, which is your title and your description tag. Then you want to make sure that the keyword is also in your header tag and then is leveraged in your copy. Now, there are related keywords that you could use. So for example, when you talk about web design, web development, web developer, and then possibly leveraging HTML, CSS, and other related terms. So you want to leverage that in your page copy as well, so Google can interconnect the copy that's in there. Leveraging schema markup to talk about the services, the location area you service, review schema markup, all of that matters. Even when Google says something like, well, we're depreciating it, still add it. That might sound counterintuitive. It's because some things they test, they remove, and they add back. And even if you add it, they're still tracking it. Okay, so I highly recommend that. Image optimization, this means not only Google has now built in, and so does Amazon, a whole bunch of other tools that can read the text in your images. So add relevant images, add relevant titles on top of it, and then make sure that you put a specific title tag onto it. Now, don't optimize it where you're like you know, web design, Phoenix, and then that's your keyword. Like literally just say, you know, Phoenix web design services, or, you know, make sure that if a screen reader is reading it, the person's not going to get annoyed because the like 6 images on your page say Phoenix web design, or, you know, whatever it may, Houston web design, or Houston WordPress developer. All right, interlinking your content. This one is really helpful if you have a blog post about your service and then a page, interlink that. It helps Google, again, see that links are coming in and that you're cross-connecting content. There is a hack with Google Search Console where if you see a page that's ranking for relevant content, you should use that page to link to other related services with that keyword. I'll dive into that a little bit later. And then the biggest ones that really do matter, these are official signals that almost everyone should have down, that is really simple to do. HTTPS, meaning SSL, mobile, meaning you should just make sure your site passes Google's mobile standards, and then page speed. This one is a sticky one because Google has like a score, and then you have page load times. Simply put, if you can get your pages to load under 3 seconds, you're in a good place. All right, don't worry so much about the score, but make sure your time to load is in that 1 to 3 second space. If you're in e-commerce, then you're looking at, you know, 1 second-ish, 1.5. That page speed also impacts user experience, which then also impacts SEO. It's not just waiting. Okay. What's really, really important in here that I want to cover with you is when you are working through content and you optimize it, first start and make sure that your content is relevant, right? Don't get stuff that's spun or just written by someone in the Philippines without looking at it. Make sure it's relevant to your ideal customer. Make sure that the intent is being solved. So for example, when you say something like, you know, how do you fix a hole in your roof? That not only is the content there, but then you're optimizing it for the intent where someone's looking for fixing a, you know, a hole in your roof kind of thing. Make sure it's readable. So when people are scanning it, you have appropriate titles and subtitles and the paragraph spacing, because that matters a lot. Because if someone bounces off your page, ultimately the time on page factor that Google's looking for is going to have a negative sign, and then you're going to drop off of it. But having, you know, links and headlines and images, that really helps them break the content. And most people are going to skim your content before they read it. Okay. All right, so I have 3 off-page SEO strategies here that you should be working off of. We'll kind of talk about them in a little bit more detail, and then one bonus one, which is content promotion. So the first one is Google Search Console. If your site or your client's sites don't have Google Search Console, enable that immediately. Google Search Console will give you so many deep insights on things like, you know, what keywords your site is actually ranking for, what position they're ranking for locally, how many clicks they're getting, how many impressions they're getting. So for example, you might find out that your page may be ranking for a specific keyword on page 1 in position 4, but you're not getting any clicks. Well, then you might realize I just need to optimize the title and the description because it's ranking, but no one's clicking on it. Why? Because they might be looking, for example, for a WordPress developer, but in your thing, you're talking about WordPress updates or something. And so you might want to say, you know, professional WordPress developer, or you might, you know, if you offer a business like remodeling, you might want to say something like, you know, #1 trusted remodel contractor in Houston. And that might get them to click on it versus home remodel or affordable home remodel Houston, right? Like you can play around and get to understand those things by looking at the Google Search Console insights. That's very simple. The next one is Google My Business optimization. I am going to cover just a couple of things. So everyone should know what Google My Business is, I assume here. So if you don't, just Google it, but that's usually what shows up. Do you have some time, Cindy? Do you have some time, Christina? Can I just spend 2 minutes on GMB, or do you guys think you'll have it down, and can I just cover a couple of advanced things that you should do for GMB?
It's up to you guys.
I'll go with the advanced stuff because you guys can Google the other stuff. All right.
Yeah, please go advanced.
Yeah. Okay. So think about it this way. If you search for any company and on the right side you see like the map and the information, that's the Google GMB listing. If you're a freelancer, an agency owner, claim it and get access through your. Actually, don't claim it. Let your business owner claim it, and then you get access to it. And make sure you do several different things. The key things you want to make sure you have in place there are an effective description. You have put the proper categories in place for the business. So look at it now. Google allows plenty of them. If your client has multiple services, add the services, and you can actually now link to pages that are connected to the services, which is very helpful. Again, it just is telling Google how to do stuff. Make sure that you configure service areas. If that business allows you to configure service areas, do that. And please don't do whole of Texas, right? Just because your client wants business everywhere. GMB is for local, so try to keep it in a 50-mile radius or less, and it helps. And by the way, with your local schema, you want to try to match up the same service radius or zip codes. The next thing you want to do, and this is really, really important, reviews are a ranking factor for local map packs, right? Because everyone wants not just their business to show up on the right side, they want it in the top 3. So if you're looking to get your GMB listing or your local listing in the local map packs, make sure that you work on collecting reviews, okay? The next thing is to monitor the Google My Business Insights. I don't know how many of y'all actually do that, but jump into the insights. It'll show you keywords that people are searching on to click over to the website. So you can make sure that you add more of that content on to your homepage or whatever pages you're linking to. And then the two big ones that I see people not doing is actually optimizing the GMB profile to drive engagement. So instead of just the listing, you can actually use call to actions over the last year or 6 months, depending where you are at in the country or in the world. Google started allowing you to include coupons, add industry news, add posts, right? And so that's a great way to organically get, like if you do a blog post for your business or for your clients, to link that up. And that will get it more visibility and clicks, which then obviously increases your engagement, which then increases your prominence and visibility. And then obviously at the end of the day, it leads to more leads, calls, direct calls, or clicks to your website, and then ultimately calls from there. Okay, so that would be one, those would be a couple of big things that if you're not doing for your clients, you should. If you're not doing it for your business, you most definitely should. And we offer a GMB audit through My Web Audit. That's one of the most popular reports that are generated for businesses, because right now Google My Business is free, and it's a great way to generate traffic to your site. Okay, the next thing that you can do, people will keep talking about link building, and link building, truth be told, is very hard unless you're working for a company that really knows what they're doing, or working with a company that knows what they're doing. You're not going to get links, but there are easy ways to get some pretty solid links. Local citations in simple terms is just getting business directory or industry related directory links to your website. And so you can use Moz Local, you can use Whitespark. I would, if you're a freelancer or an agency, I would caution you using Bright Local. They do some pretty decent stuff, but if you don't give them specific directions, they use a random name and they don't do stuff the right way. You have to handhold them. So if you're going to do the handholding and you have a VA, then my recommendation is leverage Moz Local and Whitespark. Whitespark, in essence, will even let you pick your client's phone number and find all the sites they're listed on. So it's like an easy way to find out who's ranking on page 1. You put in their URL, you put in their phone number, find a list, pass it on to your VA, knock it out. And for those of you that run a business, find someone that's in this group here and see how they can help you with your citations. All right, this one I'm going to give you here for content promotion is a big one. And I would tell you will give you a lot of great results if you can do it right. 2 resources. That content promotion ultimately means you've spent some time writing it, you've spent some time optimizing it. How do you get more visibility, more eyeballs, and more clicks onto your content? My 2 simple hacks. The first one is going to be an easy one, which is make sure that you make sure you put a pixel on your site from Facebook or Google, and then you just add a couple of dollars a day, right? It could be something like even just like $3 a day. or $5 a day, and you promote that your new content in front of people who visited your site. And then once you have enough people coming in, you can build a lookalike audience and just say within, you know, like maybe 10 miles or so of my business, or 15 miles, and just have a small audience, but you just continue to promote your content in front of them. There's other advanced tactics in Facebook where you can say if someone's seen page 1, then take them to page 2. So maybe how to select the right home remodel contractor is page 1. The next one would be some testimonials, and then the third one would be, you know, schedule a free consultation type of thing. But for starters, for the purpose of SEO, my recommendation is locally within your region, spend $3 to $5 or even $2 to $5 a day, and you'll just get a couple of clicks coming to it. Google is going to see the local traffic coming to it. It's going to see time spent on page, and that automatically boosts your ranking. And by the way, if you want to try this, if you see a page that's on page 2, just spend $50 for 2 weeks to promote your content, and you'll start seeing it move from page 2, like let's say position 16 to 12 and to 10, and you won't have to do anything but that, and you'll see the engagement automatically boosts that. And there's plenty of studies that show that. And then another tool that I'll link to at the end is called Q Promote. It's QUUU Promote. And ultimately what that tool does is it allows you to take your content, especially if it's good quality content, and share it with people in a specific industry that will share to other people that will amplify that content. The cool part is it builds backlinks for you organically, and it costs, I think like a plan costs like $40 a month, and you get like 5 or 10 things you can promote. So like we have clients in the home remodel space, we have clients in, well, we promote our own agency stuff, we promote our SaaS and a whole bunch of different companies. And literally, it's a great way to get 500 or so people to your site if you have good content, and to get, you know, maybe a dozen or 2 dozen backlinks from different places. Sometimes they're great, sometimes they're not. And then sometimes you get lucky with really good content. You might get a couple of thousand clicks and some really solid backlinks. Okay, I'll link to that at the end. So some quick takeaways here. Make sure you create quality content. Make sure that you don't just create the content, you spend time optimizing it, because that's how you get found. And then to amplify that, you want to promote the content. For those of you that are in the agency space that really are looking to dive down on this, make sure that you leverage at least an 80-20 type breakdown, 80% to create the content and optimize it, and at least 20% to promote it. And the promotion part is something that most people miss, and even businesses are missing. And that's how you get results. That's how you, instead of doing 5 blog posts that are 400 or 500 words, you just do 1 or 2, and then you really optimize that well, and then you promote it. And then the next month you do that. And I guarantee you, I don't want to guarantee anything, but I assuredly, in 6 months, you will see much better results doing it this way than you have done it before if you are doing it the old way, okay? And just think about it this way. When was the last time you looked at content? And when you looked at that content, was it really 500 words? And I'm not saying don't just do this lengthy content that bores people. I'm saying write content where people find value. And if they find the value at the top, great. And they might share it because it's in depth. But Google's looking for authority content. And sadly, because of all the spammy stuff people have been doing, you know, the 500 word stuff doesn't work well unless it serves that intent. And if it does, then do it. But don't be going by the, like, I need to do 4 500 word blogs a month just because someone told me that it works better. Local citations are really easy to do. Here's the biggest mistake we see with local citations. Someone comes in, pays a company, and then they get like 100 citations in a month. That's a negative signal, right? Because Google again can see that. So just say, you know, you're going to do like 20 or so a month, and then you just continue to stack that over time. And again, by using most of these tools, you can identify which companies are actually high value and relevant to your industry. Do those first. And then Google Search Console, this is the best thing that you could be using out there for you and your clients' SEO, because it actually tells you what's relevant keywords, links, pages, etc., that are relevant to your business. I don't know where we are on time, so if you all want me to kind of dive into Google Search Console, I can do that. I just wanted to share a couple of resources for you, for those of you that are interested in diving deeper into specific things. If you're looking at search insights and site insights, Google Analytics Search Console, content ideas, answer the public is really cool. You just put in a couple of topics, It'll give you the who, what, why, and all the questions related to it. So that's how you can create really good content. And FAQs. FAQ schema is really, really good. I'll show you in a minute if you have a time how we've used that to skyrocket companies from nowhere to page one by just adding good content and then like a top 10 FAQs related to that service. Content promotion, QUU.promote. Facebook, LinkedIn ad paid promotion just for a few dollars a day is really good. Google My Business posts are also a great way to do that. Citations, Moz Local and Whitespark are good. If you have a VA, then Whitespark and a VA work really, really good. We offer that kind of as a service as part of our local SEO package. Local schema markup is really, really important for local companies. If you haven't learned about schema, go to schema.org, and then Google actually has a simple tool. You just Google Structured Data Markup Helper, and it'll tell you what's going on. If you really want to learn about SEO, check out backlinko.com. I've been part of Brian Dean's Inner Circle. That's where I learned a lot of what I've done. And then other stuff is just following best practices. And truth be told, not much has changed in the last 10 years because it was easier 10 years ago to rank sites because there wasn't competition in content. Now, like for example, if I look for Phoenix Web Design, I'm on page 1, but I had to rank over 19 million pages to get there, right? That's not an easy thing to do. And so when you speak to people, if you're a business owner, please understand that there's probably going to be hundreds of thousands of pages. So you have to really say, what can I do to add value to get that higher? So that's kind of the framework. If you can do the on-page stuff well and solve the intent and have good content, and then you can build the backlinks via, especially local businesses, you guys can build backlinks via local citations, you'll be set. Okay, so thank you all for your time. Hopefully this is valuable. I wanted to use this Q&A to kind of dive deeper into any of these topics, and we'll kind of go from there.
Yeah, open it up, guys. Any questions that you guys have? I know I threw in the QUUU.co. That was new. And the other one was, I've also asked is another great place to get what people are questioning.
Yes.
I have a question.
Great tool. Yeah.
Clifford, right?
Yes.
If you could go into a little bit more about where you said how you would use, I guess, ads. I don't know if you were referring to Facebook ads or Google ads, and then it was either directing to either the GMB or I guess I know you're an advanced SEO guy, so I'm sure you know of the term CDI number of the GMB. So I didn't know if which one you were pointing to or.
Yeah, so no. So that would be considered gray hat, the strategy you're talking about. For the most part, I avoid some of that stuff only because, as Google's algorithm picks up on it, I don't want it to get great results in the next month. The client is like, I'm only speaking from the agency perspective, like what happened, right? And so what I was suggesting we do, and I apologize, I didn't catch your name there, but what I recommend you do is if you have GMB, make sure you put proper posts and call to actions in your GMB profile. But if you have content specifically ranking, or you want it to rank better, then what I'm saying is take a post, throw it onto Facebook or LinkedIn, and then spend a few dollars a day to promote that in front of an audience that is in that exact geographic area. For example, I might want to get clients who want web design in Houston, but that's not going to help me with my local SEO. So I'm going to be working with people within 10, 15 miles, businesses within 10, 15 miles of my location. Does that make sense?
It does, but there's a part that I'm asking about, which is where are you pointing it to? Are you pointing it directly to the GMB? Are you pointing it directly to the service page?
To the service page.
The service page?
I'm usually pointing it to the service page, or in many cases, I'm pointing it to the blog page, because the service page is served. So you have to think about it this way. The service page is set up for the conversion. I want you to make a decision and hire me. The blog is one that is set up to educate first, right? So it would be like telling someone, I want to, hey, here's the link to my profile. Instead of going on a date, marry me. And so instead, I'm saying point it over to the content that'll help educate them on why you're the right solution. And on that page, you should be able to link to the service page. That's the structure that we use. And if you do have a good service page that, that deals a little bit with education and then tries to do the conversion, you could do that as well. It all depends on what you're trying to rank for. The thing is, you're doing a hard sell, will click on the link and then bounce out. But if you have a good, here, I'm gonna pull up my agency site real quick.
While you're pulling that up, the second part of the question that I have is, have you been able to use or find any strategies on how to increase your GMB proximity?
Give me just a second.
Definitely.
So I was just showing you this. So like the difference here would be like, right off the bat, I'm kind of talking to them a little bit. So there is the call to action, but I'm educating. So if you can do stuff like this, then this could work. Otherwise, people would just be like, oh, it looks like it's very salesy. Another one would be, this is one of our clients. When you go to like, let's just look at the kitchen remodeling. Like if someone comes here, obviously it quickly tells them what they're doing. It builds trust, but here it kind of gives them information. This could be a blog post, but it's written to help educate. And this works really, really well. And obviously we're looking to rank this, and we have ranked this on page 1 for kitchen remodeling here in Phoenix. But my point is, if you have content structured like this, and here you can see the FAQ structure I have, and this is marked up with schema as well as the reviews that are on this page. Okay, now I apologize. What was the question you asked?
The second question is, have you been using any strategies to increase your local proximity for the Google My Business?
Man, if you are like, one of the biggest ones that would work, but is hard to really do, and again, this is kind of in the gray area, is to get to try to get your customers or your team members to leverage the drive directions and stuff like that. That helps Google see more geo signals, anything that can boost geo signals, whether that's trying to geotag your images, service area markup on pages. That would be it. Yeah, those would be the things that I would do. Now, some people have like 3 cell phones, and they're kind of setting the location and driving into work, and that I avoid those type of things, man. Like for me, I believe that if you have the right content, you build the right local citations, and you don't do spammy stuff like putting the keyword into your name, even though that works really, really well. No one is looking for Phoenix Web Design as my company name, and I own phoenixwebdesign.com. I'm just telling you, like, that stuff easily gets flagged over time. And so I've been able to do this organically over the years, and I'm going to go back with no silver bullets. I know you're not asking for silver bullet, but
no, you gotta understand, Riz lives in the gray area.
Okay.
No, well, here's the thing. I do everything the kosher way too.
Sure.
I just like hearing everybody's opinion. I was very interested in how you said you did the ads, and that would help increase, the GMB ranking, because that has been coming out. That release has been coming out from other experts saying engagement on your GMB does help. So.
It does. So definitely putting, and I think now in specific areas, Google is allowing for ads in their GMB, as well as the local map pack you always could have, but GMB you can in specific industries, in specific cities. But what I'm saying to you is there's a direct correlation between visitor traffic, geolocated, as well as time on page. So if you are looking to improve your GMB, if Google is seeing that a lot of people are going to a website and your GMB is connected to the website, that signal is tracked via your analytics, and obviously Google interconnects all of that. And so that would be the organic way I would do it. So I would drive traffic from Facebook through paid promotions to the homepage, to the service page, or the blog page.
All right. And before I give the mic to somebody else, my last question to you would be, any thoughts on press releases? Are you still doing them, not doing them? Reasons as to why or why not?
Yeah, press releases, I would not recommend you do them more than every 6 months, maybe every 3 months if you have something valuable. to share. A lot of them offer, and while now Google's trying to figure out how to deal with, no follow links and all of that. I would say if you're, we do them occasionally. Does it really boost your SEO? No. Will it get you some backlinks? Yes. Again, it goes back to if you're spending, anywhere from a good press release to write it and then promote it, you're looking at, anywhere from probably $350 to $600 to do that. Could you use it in other places? I would say in my case, yes. I would say write a good blog post and put, $3 to $5 a day on it, and you'll probably get more results.
See. And the other thing is, sorry if there's another question, but I was kind of looking forward to your presentation about your tool, the My Audit tool. You didn't really go into that. Didn't know if you could maybe go into that a little bit.
Sure. Well, this is a full value. This is no project. I told Christina I'm coming here to educate, but if by the way, Rizwan, are you a freelancer or agency owner?
I would say I'm a self-claimed agency owner.
Okay, fair enough. There's a lot of people in that boat. So what I would say is just go to myweboudit.com. It's really simple to use, man. It's point and click stuff. You'll find a lot of value there. And then we have a great community. We also have a lot of articles and videos and stuff like that. And then drop us something in live chat and just say, hey, I met Cliff, whatever, and our team will take care of you. We have Ask Me Anything sessions every Wednesday. You don't even need to be a customer. Jump on and I'll kind of run through some strategies with you there, man.
Thank you.
Yeah, and I'll share that group and the website in the WordPress, and he's a WordPress Facebook group, so you can head out. You can join his group. It's really good. Gives a lot of value in it. But so Lisa's got a question. Mentioned a hack for Google Search Console related to interlinking content. Did I miss what he meant by this?
Yes. Google Search Console. If y'all have time, I think this is really valuable. Give me 3 or 4 minutes. I'll run you through a couple of things. All right?
Okay.
Everyone's gonna be like, "No, we gotta go to dinner." And so look,
we're staring you down.
Yeah.
We eat SEO for dinner, man. Take your time.
Oh. All right. So let's kind of jump into this. Could you stop recording here just because it's my client stuff, if you don't mind?
Sure.
Yeah. Okay, so I'll just say, if y'all are looking to leverage Google Search Console, you should be able to do a lot of these things. This screen is not from Google Search Console, but you should be able to do all of this with a little bit of study and training. Now let's jump into this blog and let's talk about what you're looking to get done. So, so you're saying, how could you get a little bit more visibility for this content? Is that correct?
That's correct. I send my articles to some magazines. It gets published and I can see it. But when I keep it in my blog, nothing happens.
What do you mean by when you keep it in your blog, nothing happens?
Like for example, let's say there is a publication. If I send them some publications in other blogs, if I send it to them, if they publish it, it gets more visibility. But if I publish it myself, I don't get any visibility.
Oh, well, obviously, I would say unless you have a large audience, which those publications do, you're able to leverage their visibility, right? And their audience. And so in your case, things that I would do right off the bat, make sure you put an SSL certificate on here. That's going to be really, really important. Right now, this does not look good at all because I'm on your page and I'm on your blog. And right now it says, Doula's blog and blog archive, but instead you should have had it start with this because people are going to be looking for this and you don't have probably a description under it. You remember we talked about making sure that it's readable and scannable. This just looks like a lot of content, but there's no categories around any of this, which you would want.
Yeah, you want headings, subheadings, bullets. Yep. You're kind of missing the ability for people to kind of read this easily and making it into chunks of content. Yep. And I think he's also talking about your meta titles. You're missing that. There's just a few things. Yeah.
I'll just come back to, this is a simple one. Like you can quickly jump through and say, oh, I'm looking at this, or I'll stop here, let me see what that's about. And, you know, again, headlines where they matter. And so you just follow that structure. You know, if you look at optimizing my content for blogs, you'll find plenty of that. But the big ones are the ones I covered. You're missing images on here, title tag, meta description, no H1 tags for your headline tags. Other things that I would also do, just simple ones, would be social sharing. So if someone actually does come and look at it, you have that. And the other big thing you don't want to be doing is this. On your, I don't know if you should usually just have a list, maybe the first 150 characters with the read more. You definitely don't want to have the whole blog here and then go onto another page and have the whole blog on there as well. There's a lot of stuff that would probably need to be done. I would say if you followed what I shared with you for just optimizing your content and switch this around, you'll see a little bit more of a difference. But you asked for visibility. I'll tell you, if you came to me and said, hey, I need visibility, my recommendation to you would be to find people that are on Facebook that are connected or interested in Ethiopian news and spend a couple of dollars a day to put this in front of them. That would be probably it's either time or money that you're gonna have to spend on this.
Okay. Okay.
Clifford, if you got time for a question. So I'm a small business owner. I run my own company, and we provide training in search and rescue to the law enforcement and military agencies. And we have fairly new to, well, I'm new to web building and running my own site. We've had a lot of success on Facebook in certain groups because the area, our market is so specific to law enforcement and the military. What we're not having luck with is generating traffic onto our website. We did a post not too long ago on a recovery that we did, and we had over 5,000 views and likes on Facebook. I mean, it was, and you know, a bunch of shares. I mean, it was really good, but it didn't generate anything to the website. And that's what I'm kind of trying to figure out. And, you know, our SEO, you know, with the website is not so great. You know, we don't rank. And I understand that comes with time and stuff, but we're just wondering if you had any recommendations on how we could leverage that, you know, Facebook success. And it sounds like, you know, you were talking about the ads, but how do we get that to the website?
Yeah, I would need to know a little bit more, but here's some things that I would do. I bet you the video at the end does not have a call to action. Like, hey, if you found this compelling. Sadly, I lost a friend and he went hiking, and search and rescue came in the next morning, and this happened on Friday. So if you had content that talked about, you know, this happens all the time, here's some things you should know, and you had a video that says, now go to this blog and learn more with the call to action, that's something you could, anyone who's watched any of your videos, you can actually retarget them specifically and say like, hey, you know, we know you've watched our video, you should check out our blog about these tips that could matter, or here's the other stuff that we're doing in the community. Or the bigger one I would say is how you drum up money for people who consume that content and vibe with your business calls. And so a call to actions on your videos is the simplest one. Past that would be retargeting anyone who's watched your videos or engaged with your posts. And then obviously, you know, like what I would do is transcribe some of that video and then put it into a blog post and then put the video on there and then share it also on YouTube, because YouTube's bigger search engine than Google, than Facebook, and also then link to it, link to your page, link to the blog post, you know, link to your site through the comments, through the description areas, both on Facebook and YouTube, because now you can add that onto Facebook when you add videos.
Okay. Well, I just sent the link to my website, and you can take a look at what we put on there. It's under our news tab.
So you've got one blog?
Yeah, I've got one right now. Like I said, we just started the website because, quite frankly, we didn't need it for the first year that we were in business, because we had a really good word of mouth promotion of our company.
Mm.
You know, people were going and, you know, recommending us and stuff, but, you know, as time has progressed, it's kind of slowed down, and we're trying to, you know, generate some more interest.
Well, one thing before you guys get started, because I was noticing how it's slow. You're at 5 seconds for the homepage to download.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of that is because you have really large images. So Google's going to kind of ding you for that a little bit.
Okay.
It's a poor user experience. So figure out a way that you can kind of compress those images. I think you have logos on the homepage that look really big. So I would look at maybe those might be little areas where you can kind of compress those a little bit, make them a little smaller. But yeah, I'm sure Clifford's got other ideas for the blog.
Oh yeah, most definitely. Yeah, I would do what all the stuff that Christina just mentioned. Other things are data will show you, like if you can use a tool like Hotjar, that once you get past these 3 slides, no one's seeing them, period. Less than 50% are going past 2, and then less than 35% will see 3. Okay, this is general stuff in your industry. Maybe people are really interested, they'll see that, but my recommendation, kill the slides. And then you don't have any call to actions, my friend, like nothing here, like other than this, like, again, I'll show you, so this is what you want in your site. Like this is going past, and I can come and speak at another time about structure and home pages and telling stories.
Yeah.
But literally you need to have like a nice image that showcases what you're doing, a call to action that should be the primary driver, either working with you guys or volunteering, funding, and then you should have 3 pillars where they should go, and then break down the content. Right now, your website does not have that structure, it just has an image. And I get it, like you're working on it, but my point is to do that, or even these things matter. Like I would have taken those, dropped those in size by about 80% and just put the logos right below it, right? Then specifically when you talk about your news, because you asked me about this, things that I would have done is I would have put probably 2 or 3 sentences that compel the person to want to click in deeper. This is black, it should be blue, so someone knows it's a link. Otherwise, truth be told, if I came on here, I would think that you really just have 1 line and text. I don't even know it's a link.
Okay.
No image, but your blog here has images. So I would have like taken this image and like cropped it and then just showed like this over here. Even here on this blog, you don't have any call to actions. So I would interlink your content, put effective call to actions, like, you know, go to a training course, things like that. There's a lot of opportunity here.
Okay.
Things you could do if you want to learn, just Google, you know, conversion optimization strategies for blogs. Both you and Dula could find some great actionable stuff right off the bat. Very easy to follow. Okay.
Thank you, Clifford.
You're most welcome. All right.
I think you got to go,
Yes.
Clifford. Yes, your family's waiting for you.
Yeah, so thank you all for your time. I hope this was valuable. And Christina, maybe September, October, or whatever, if you want me to come back in, speak about conversion optimization, building trust with design, whatever, happy to do so. All right.
Awesome. Thanks
everyone. Good night.
Thanks, Clifford. So usually what we do at this point, if you guys have any like specific problems that you're running into, we can spend a few minutes kind of looking at that. If anybody's got a problem with the site, it's broken, or you just like we did with Trident Training, if you're just kind of curious, I think with the collective here, we can maybe help answer some questions.
Because often they want to be strong, but on
just watching TV.
I have a question, Christina.
Sure, do.
On the web, on one of the websites that we have contact me form, and we don't know where that, if somebody try to reach us, we don't know where it's going. So what is the best way to find out? Somebody wrote the script, the Google form. So what is the best way to I still have my mask. I was outside, but
so the best thing you need to do, let me just share my screen really quick. I believe this is the one. Am I sure? Yeah, there we go. So let's just say this is the website. I know it's, you know, you've got a few of them.
Oh
but
yeah,
so
yeah, you got it. You got it.
yeah. So this contact us form, oh gosh, this looks, so that's a Google form.
Okay, so where?
I don't know. You'd have to, you need this account. You need the Google account, whoever made this, they have a Google account. They set that up with this to create this embedded form.
I see. Okay.
And that person's going to know it's that whatever account this was used, that's where those answers are. Now your
wonderful.
other one, you know, you might be a little bit different. Do you have a contact us form on this one? I don't think you do.
No, I don't on this one.
Okay.
I don't. This is just a blog. The other one is a nonprofit, so we kind of.
Yeah. So, for example, I'll just go to mine really quick. So the contact us. Let me just load it up here. So this form, I use Gravity Forms, and it loads up here. This is a Gravity form, and this in the setting in the dashboard of this website, there is a place where I can set up the notifications, and that's where it's sent to. So it just all depends. Your first one's a Google form, so that's whatever Google account. If you have a form like that kind of looks like this, then you need to go into your dashboard and find the plugin that's managing your form.
I see. Okay. Great. I'll work on it. Definitely.
Cool. Yeah, well, throw it. If you get stuck, that Facebook group, you know, we can help out, you know. So I recommend anyone in that Facebook group, I think we're getting some good traction in there. Just throw the link and say, hey, I don't know how do I find out where the form is going to for this website? Always put the URL in there so we can kind of diagnose it.
Okay, wonderful. Do you need password and the username and password, or you do the source and tell?
Sorry, for what?
No, do you have to have access to the username and password to the website to do?
Yes.
To do it? Okay, got you. Yeah, okay, I can do that if I can figure it out. Definitely.
But for the Google form, you need your Google email and password.
Yeah, it's actually the same email and password that we have, but okay, I'll look into it. Now I know exactly what it is, and let me play with it. If I can't figure it out, I'll definitely ask for help.
Cool.
Wonderful.
Anyone else stuck on something? Kind of curious how something's working?
This is Jorge. One thing I'm doing is like I'm starting to do like competitor analysis, like SEO wise. So I'm trying to figure out. One thing I saw was they had a title. Like let's say they have a product, and when you look it up one way, the title is a certain way, but whenever you look it up a different way, like let's say it's a the engine part is one, but then it's also two connectors, like a 2-pin, but they kind of point to the same thing. But I guess from an SEO's perspective, they have something that makes the title different.
Yeah, and you know, someone else can, Riz, if you want to pop in on this answer too. From my understanding, Google, whatever you put your meta titles, your meta descriptions, it's really up to Google. They'll use that or not use it. Okay. They'll put what they want in there. I've seen that happen a lot. So
well,
if you've got
on the page, like when you, let's say you look for a Lexus engine plug.
Could you show it to us on your website so we can look at it?
Yeah, I can show you the. I'm not on my screen, but let me find the website real quick.
Yeah, send me the link and I'll share it here.
Okay. And I hope none of y'all is the competitor. 1 second.
I think you're safe.
Okay, here we go. It is. I'm on my phone right now, so I'm just jumping on the chat now.
Okay.
Okay, chat. Find pigtail. Okay, it's either find pigtail or find pigtails. And I'm gonna actually look for one specific one. Okay, yeah, fine pigtails. So like the way they sell these is it's either by how many like connectors it has, like the little holes, or what vehicle it's compatible by. So like let's say connector, I'm gonna look by model and year, and I'll send a link in the Audi. Sorry, and I am doing the search on it that way. And so like what I did was like, let's say I found like a, 2000 Toyota.
Are you looking at a Christina screen? Because she's trying to do what you're saying, so we could okay, follow along.
Okay, perfect. Let me close trying to find it. Yeah, so like let's say the 2017 Lexus CT, if you click on where it says like radiator fan. So the title says radiator fan Y158 whatever. Oh, that was weird. So it looks like they have something wrong on their site.
What's wrong with it?
No, well, because it should have shown that plug. Or
He's
which
talking
plug
about
did you
the image is missing.
Okay.
You
Well,
do know that's a subheader. What she, Christina, could you go back to that page real quick?
Yeah.
What you're looking at is, I don't know if you see at the very top, it says there's Lexus CT 200H radiator. That's your title tag.
Yeah.
So Google is going to show that. It's not going to show this radiator fan thing. Christina, could you go on any of the white space and hit right click and do view source real quick for him? And then do a control F and do title. And it should be right there highlighted there.
So you're using Yoast.
Okay. I was looking at that. But like you see how on the permalinks, it says connector Lexus CT 200H17, like on the permalinks?
Mm-hmm. Well, you got the canonical here too.
Yes. So like, and I guess maybe that's what it is. I don't understand it too well. The canonical versus if you just type in Z99AO in the search.
What, in here?
No, like inside of when you're trying to find it by just that Z99AO in the search right there. Because right there it says radiator fan. Oh, a zero. Did you put 0 or?
I probably put Z9980. Nope. Z99AO.
That's weird. I guess it's the 0.
It still doesn't. Here it is. Well, that's several Z9980s.
Yeah,
You've got a lot of Z9980s.
okay, but like go ahead and click any of those. But like whenever I looked at it, it would the way you categorize, like when you look, okay, so that one is.
So yeah, we can see it on the very top. It actually has your title tag is matching the product name.
Yes. Okay. Well, I guess what I was mistaken, I was thinking that they had one product, but based on let's say you use custom post types and they're for the location, because like on this one you could say it has 3 pins in it, so it would show 3 pins under that category, and that would be the actual titles that would go on top, but the titles on the actual there on the Mazda 3 fog lamp. I'll see if I could do a video on it and post it in the group.
Yeah.
Because I got to find the exact one. I don't want to waste anybody else's time.
Yeah. It's tough to see what you're talking about. Yeah. Do a quick video. Yeah. That's a good idea.
Okay, cool.
Any other problems or questions? What SEO thing y'all are curious about? Why doesn't my site show #1 on Google?
Well, I guess since no one's asking, I'll ask one more. So I'm starting to look at like competitor analysis of SEO to see like keywords work best for my client. So like, what would be like the best tool for that? Is there something out there that I need to subscribe to, or are there free tools out there that would work well? So for example, for this website, what would be the best keywords that are getting traffic?
I have tools, like I pay for Web CEO. I've paid, you know, and then you've got, oh crap, what's the other one?
And I have no problem paying, especially while I'm doing the actual audit.
SEM Rush.
Yeah, I was just about to say SEM Rush will tell you,
Yep.
you can put in a competitor website and see where all the traffic is coming from, what they're ranking number one as, how many visitors they're getting for that keyword, and then you can optimize for that keyword.
Okay, so the SEM Rush would probably be a good spot to go for then. Okay, awesome.
Yeah, so I can see this site. This is your site. Authority 44. Yeah, so you can just put any domain up here. But
Okay.
you can also kind of do it by organic keywords. So here's your top organic keywords. So find pigtails, pigtail connector. So these are your competitors, main organic competitors. So that's just the beginning for you to look up, you know, and this is the free account.
Okay, awesome. Yeah, because the big debate for me was, do we call it pigtails or connectors?
Yeah. So lots of pigtails, but your main organic competitors use connectors.
Yes, and that's where I was kind of stuck. I was like, man, so I'm like, do I just say pigtail connectors? But then I don't want to make it long.
Here's the keyword pigtail connector. They just want to, you know, 2,400 usually means on average per month volume.
Okay.
And they're on position, and this is you, by the way, this is you. You're position 3. But your main competitors are connector experts, search engine keywords, 33%. Yeah, anyway.
Okay, yeah, and then for reference, like that. Okay, cool. Awesome.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Sure. All right, any other questions?
I was going to say, if you're looking for a speaker, another SEO speaker, I would like to give a little shout out to Lisa, because I got some consulting advice from her regarding On-Page, and she did a number using Screaming Frog and Deep Crawl for me, and taught me quite a few things that I overlooked a whole lot, and she's great.
Awesome. Lisa Dotson?
Lisa Staubner.
No, not this Lisa.
It's like, go Lisa.
Lisa Staubner. She's,
yeah, do me a favor in Facebook. Can you IM me? Her name? Anyone?
Yeah, she's. You've met her a few times. I'll send you her profile.
Yeah, I'll just forget. And I've got to find more speakers. If anyone, like Riz just did, if anyone's got any recommendations for speakers, please, please, please let me know. I should have another SEO person next month. She was supposed to speak this month, and she just had conflicts, so I had to quickly find Clifford. He was nice enough to do that for me. But if no one has any other questions, I'll just kind of let it go from here. And like I said, if you guys have any, please hop into the Facebook group, which is here. What is it? Well, y'all are going to see my, I'm going to stop the share for a second. I don't want you guys to see my Facebook group. All right, there it is. All right. And just ask any questions, and usually the group will try and help out. And that's about it, guys. So have a great night. Thanks, everybody. Talk to you guys later.